And we're live. All right. Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you this evening with a special live examination. I'm being joined by Mr. Ian here in, I always forget if you're in New Hampshire or Pennsylvania. You're in Pennsylvania, right? No, not Pennsylvania. Yeah.
I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay. You were looking at me crazy. All right. Pennsylvania. Yeah. And then we have Michael down here on the bottom. He's in Brooklyn. And I forgot. I got to put the, I guess I took off the names. I don't know what happened there. Well, it doesn't matter. All right. We got the Beer Baron and we got Mr. Ian Farquharson, right? I got it. Did I say that right? Okay, good. Okay. So we're going to go through and we're drinking barrel-aged beers tonight is the topic of discussion. Any barrel-aged beer, it doesn't have to be a stout or pour or whatever. Anything you got that's barrel-aged, that's what we're looking at. And if anybody is in the chat and has a barrel-aged beer and wants to join, just let me know and I can send the link to you. Okay, so Ian, I'll start with you since you're to my right here. What beer are you bringing tonight?
Oh, I have a well-aged Weyerbacher Heresy from, I think this is from 2013 brewing was when I bought this. So it's been an 8% ABV, which is kind of low on the Imperial Stout barrel-aged Imperial Stout scale, but we'll see how it goes. I bought a case of this back in 2013, and I've been going through it ever since. Still have a little bit left, but I figure it'd be kind of interesting to see how well this might have survived almost 12 years in my basement.
Yeah, that's It's either going to be really, really good, or it's going to be just not good. It looks pretty good. The pour looks good.
Okay, give it a pour. Give it a pour, Ian. Let's see how it looks. Nice head.
Good. Yeah. Didn't explode.
Yeah, looks nice. So appearance-wise, you're okay. Does it smell halfway decent?
Smells okay.
Looks good.
Lacing isn't bad.
Oh, Ian's going right in for it, huh?
You can take a quick sip. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Test it out. See if it's okay.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
It looks like at best a mixed reaction, but we'll see what he says later.
I might have to go to I might have to go to a backup.
Okay.
I don't think this one aged well. I mean,
is it a drain? Is it a drain pour type of beer? It's not worth drinking at all.
Yeah, I'm afraid this is a drain.
Oh boy, drain pour. All right, well, go get you another beer.
I'll go find something else. Fortunately, I have backups.
All right, go. Okay, so now the way I'm entering his beer is I'm saying did not meet up to whatever you want to call it. We'll call it shelved. Okay, I got plenty of room.
Michael, go ahead and if you want to show what you have while he's grabbing another beer.
Okay, so John, you saw the can already. It's Cojito Cowboy from 6 Point. This beer was canned on 12/18/2020 in the midst of the pandemic. So what we're talking about is 4 years in the can plus whatever we have between December and now. So 4 years, 4 months in the can, and it's 15.4%. And listen to the opening of the can. Sounds like plenty of action, so I don't think we're going to have a carbonation issue. I'm using a wider glass to give it plenty of breathing room, and I'll show you the pour. Just the fact that it has any head at all for 15.4, I'm very impressed. But this is what it looks like in the glass. Dark brown, definitely cannot see through it. So this is, dark brown looking black. And what would you say? Very tight foam head too on the top that's quick fading. In other words, enjoy the look of this because in 4 minutes, it's not
going to be around.
The head is going away as we speak. The head is going away. It's tan in color, but it is short-lived. I can see the bottom of the head now doing its hell of a difference in just a couple of seconds. It was above the line, and now it's becoming just a really small head.
Nice.
I still have more beer in the can.
Yeah, the fact that it has any head at all at 15.4% is good.
It's pretty good because usually these heavier ABV beers usually don't have much head, and they definitely don't have heads at less. But that's a full 16-ounce pour. Now, John, what I was going to say is what I had possibly planned on doing tonight was using the Brooklyn Black Ops from 2016. But the problem with that is it's 25.4 ounces, and I would have to drink the whole thing. And not that I don't feel that I could handle that. I do feel I could handle it. But I'd almost rather do that in a larger group setting because it's almost like it's this. If you think about it, 15.4 and 16 is pretty, heavy duty.
Oh yeah.
On as far as, whatever.
I would say so. All right, so
Ian,
I'll go ahead and
went down there and did his checklist. I shelved your beer on my sheet, but it's here for posterity.
I know that. Well, I've had that.
Do yours?
Sure. Yeah. Well, he's already holding his up. He can go ahead. That's the. I've had that beer, Ian.
RIS.
The Russian
Imperial Stout. Barrel aged.
Yeah.
So anyway, got a fresh glass.
What's the alcohol, Ian?
9.5.
I could wait. Okay.
All right.
Doesn't put out much of a head.
How old is that bottle? Is that within the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say probably.
Should be safe.
I'm not sure. I might have bought it when I was living up there, but so it could be 8-ish, 8.5.
I have had that beer, and the label looks the same as when I had it only a couple of years ago. So maybe it's within the last 4 or 5 years, which for a 9.5% barrel aged Russian Imperial should be okay.
Definitely smells much better, more malty, more chocolatey. The head disappeared almost immediately, although it does lace a little bit. Oh yeah, that's much better.
All right. Good deal. Okay, I got to show mine, and then we'll go around and get the full breakdown of everybody's beers here. So I've got one from Founders. Mine's the only one that's not a stout. So this is the Blushberry. It is 12% alcohol, and this is a tequila barrel-aged raspberry Belgian ale with lime. So this is something completely different. And never had this before. This is, the Founders Barrel Age series. They come out with different beers like this every year. I don't know if this is the first year they've released it, but this was bottled on February 17th, 2025. So it is this year's version. If they have made other versions in other years, I was not aware of it. But tequila barrel aged, and it's got raspberry lime in it. So raspberry lime tequila barrel aged. All right, let's crack it open. Oh my gosh. Wow. Can smell the tequila barrel.
Wow.
It looks it looks red, dark red. I don't know if you guys can see that with the light going through there. It's almost like a blood red.
It's almost
Very,
like, okay, dark red.
yeah, very fizzy. And as you can see, the
Interesting looking
head,
beer.
yeah, the head pretty much dying down very quickly. It sounded like soda pop when I poured it into the bottle. It just very, very fizzy. Oh, I can smell the raspberries. I can smell the lime. And I'm telling you, it smells like a shot of Jose Cuervo. Somebody dumped the shot of Jose Cuervo in here.
Nice.
I don't know if that's agave or if it's just like coming from the tequila barrel aging, but it has a very boozy tequila-like aroma to it, in addition to the raspberry and the lime that I'm getting. So a lot going on. There's a little bit of that funky Belgian yeast action too. So we'll get further into it here. I'll go back around, present everybody, and we can give the full breakdown of the beers, aromas, and flavor. And we'll start with Ian, since he is right up here. Let's see. There we go. And we'll pull up your beer. Perfect.
It's not. No, the beer's changed though.
Oh, that's right. There we go. I got it.
I can't see you, but you are. Okay, you're back.
So it definitely has a malty, almost a chocolatey smell to it, nose to it. It's very smooth.
Okay.
Alcohol is very well hidden, like no booziness to it at all. It's very good, but it's like, I wouldn't say it's complex, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I'm not sure what you remember from it, John. But
yeah, not as complex as like a Bourbon County or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it had a little bit of the bourbon. It was, from what I remember, it almost tasted more like a straight Russian Imperial versus like it didn't seem like it sat too long in the barrels.
Yeah,
very light.
I would get that. Yeah, very light like, yeah, there's like, you can very, very subtle bourbon flavors if any at all. So
is it bitter at all, or is it more on the sweet
not
side?
bitter at all. No bitterness at all. Like, I would say like IBUs would be like single digits practically in bitterness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Well, maybe a little more than that, but definitely not bitter.
Are you getting any of the chocolate in the taste?
Not really. It's funny how it's more in the nose than really in the taste, but yeah, it's just a good sipping beer, really.
Not boozy at all. No alcohol present.
No, not bad. So
I think your bottle, based on your description, is probably a couple of years old, because I had a bottle I actually went to the brewery with Bumpy, who you've met, Ian, on one of these things. Yeah, my wife and I went with him and his wife to the brewery, and I bought a couple bottles, like fresh bottles, and I remember that it was pretty bitter, super fresh, because typically Russian Imperials, the Russian Imperials have like the IBUs are usually between like 50 and 70. So I think probably what happened with yours is that the IBUs have kind of, the bitterness is probably faded because it's been sitting around for a couple of years. That would be my guess.
I think I found the date code.
Okay.
05,
2018.
Yeah, I think it might be 18.
Okay. So yours has had some time to mellow out. The bitterness kind of probably faded a little bit. But in my estimate, in my opinion, for my that's a good thing for me. I don't like the super bitter stouts. I like a little more.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not. I don't particularly care for bitter beers. Period. So
Okay. Is it heavy
Yeah.
body?
no,
Or is it-
pretty light. I would say it's a fairly light. I mean, it's heavier than Guinness, but definitely.
I mean-
I would say not a lot. I mean,
Guinness and
definitely-
water are kind of on the same level, though. So just about anything is going to be heavier
Yeah,
than Guinness.
Guinness is a light beer, so much to everybody's.
All right.
Much to Pilsner lovers and just chagrin.
All right. Well, we'll let you keep sipping on it. I'm going to go ahead and pull Michael up and let him tell us some more about his Coquito Cowboy.
Okay. So this is the Cojito Cowboy can. And like I said, 12/18/2020. So over 4 years in the can. 4 year Imperial stout aged in rum barrels with coconut, cinnamon, nutmeg, and vanilla. So just from the wording, you're expecting sweet, or at least I would be. I've had this before, so it's not like I'm going to be shocked or surprised. Ian, when you went down to get your other bottle, I poured mine, and it had, John will tell you, a fairly sufficient head. John, it's maintained some, though. It hasn't completely gone.
That's a little.
It was
film
another
there left.
half, maybe a quarter of an inch high. Yeah, the film of it is still there, but it was higher when I first poured it. But do you know when sometimes you pour beer, heavy alcohol like this, and you watch, you can see the head as it's saying goodbye to you. It's like the whole bottom is coming out of the head. And all that's left now is film. There's a film head through the top. But it's dark brown, bordering on black. In other words, I looked through the light, you can't see through it. But let's get a nose on it.
It almost looks like as you're tilting the glass there that
The
it's
nose
got
has
alcohol in it. Sorry, go ahead, Michael.
it has some alcohol legs right on the top. If you know, that's part of that head. Can you see further up the glass? Maybe the lighting isn't that great, but you have alcohol legs right on the top, above where the head is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's alcohol legs streaming down. So it's heavy duty. All right.
Right.
Let's see. Let me see if I can get specific. The nose is sweet. In other words, I can tell it's going to have sweet flavor. But like I say, the nose is giving off sweetness first. And let's see if I can identify any of those additives in the smell. I can smell the rum barrel in the nose. But to be fair to it, it's more like a sweet barrel taste, and maybe you couldn't tell I could tell it's not a whiskey barrel off the bat because the smell is sweeter. I'm getting a little bit of the cinnamon, which was one of the additives. Was cinnamon one of them? Yes. So I'm getting some of the cinnamon on the nose. Let's see if I can get any. I can't really smell the vanilla. What else was there? I can't smell the coconut. Hopefully these things that I can't smell, I'll be able to taste. But cheers, everybody. I'm going in for the first sip.
Cheers, Michael.
Cheers. It's really intense. It's not boozy in the sense that, it's 15.4, so it is boozy. No sense trying to try to say it's not boozy. It's boozy, but it's not boozy 15.4%, but it's boozy 12%. So it's not, it's a little bit less, but if you were to give this to somebody who is a macro drinker and is used to drinking, I don't know, Miller High Life, Pabst, or any of those kind of things, they would spit it out. They wouldn't be able to handle this. this is what you would call your dessert kind of imperial stout, because what they would think is it's a sweet bomb, and that it would gross them out. Now, I like dessert stouts, so to me, this is great.
Yeah, you too.
Did you mention the coconut?
Let's see what taste I'm getting. I can't taste the cinnamon. I smelled the cinnamon. I can't taste it. You can taste the coconut in it. So, John, well, you did taste it. I don't know if you remember the coconut. You may not, but I can taste the coconut.
The first time, I don't remember anything.
I can taste the rum barrel better than I smelled it.
Okay.
Well, Drunken One, we can tell you in the story. John was about to make his first flight, and he was fortifying himself the night before. And it wasn't the only thing he had, but he was getting ready for the trip. And we were doing a comparison thing. And Drunken One came on, and he said, John has had a few too many, and we just had to cut the whole thing short. But the shame part is, I think you would have really liked it in a different situation.
Well, thankfully, when I came to visit
events
you,
happen, and
right when I came to visit you in Brooklyn, I got to try it again, and I do remember it the second time, and it was a very good beer. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And again, I've complained in the past about carbonation issues on some of these canned beers later. This one's not having a carbonation problem. But I guess it depends on the type of beer it is. A dessert stout, you're probably not looking for all that much carbonation anyway. There are some stouts where you need more. This one doesn't really seem to, and it has enough carbonation. It's still maintaining the head, whatever. And you heard when I opened the can, there was a sprit. So, the can was okay. Let's see if I can get any of the vanilla, maybe. It's hard to differentiate between the rum barrel sweetness and the vanilla sweetness. They're probably both there. I can't pick them out individually. It seems, if you're looking at your basic taste in this, you taste the rum barrel the heaviest. That's the primary taste. You're getting a little bit, I can taste a little bit of the cinnamon, but it's more of a spice general thing than it's specific cinnamon. And then there was vanilla, which I can't really differentiate, and coconut, and nutmeg is supposedly there too. The nutmeg and the cinnamon might as well be companion spices, because I'm getting the spice a little bit. I can't differentiate between the two. And the alcohol is definitely there. Anybody who doesn't like high alcohol beers should stay away from this. And even people who drink 12% Founders beers might find this a little bit interesting, because even the sweet ones that they do have, and I don't think most of them are coffee forward, the KBS series, maybe the CBS is a little bit sweeter because of the maple syrup. But even those beers are downplayed. They're not really dessert beers. This is a true dessert beer. This would be nice to have if you're having pancakes in the morning and you're an alcoholic and you have it on the side as you're going. You say, hey, I'll use this to wash down the pancakes. And that's it. This is my beverage for my pancakes. No, but the sweetness factor is definitely something.
Right.
It's a proper breakfast stout.
Last beer is on.
Yeah, we got Josh here. We got our buddy Gabriel Celaya.
And Gabriel.
There. Yeah. Even Michael, I was going to say, even the beer.
I think Josh would.
Oh, sorry, it's that delay. That's okay. I was just going to say that even something like Bourbon County is not like the 6 Point, the Cojito Cowboy. That's much sweeter than even like a Bourbon County. The ABVs are more comparable, though. You got Bourbon County at like 14.7, or most years anyway, and then you've got that at 15.4. That's pretty close, but I would say the Cojito Cowboy, the sweetness level is a lot higher because of the adjuncts in there.
I guess those are the flavor combinations. You're interesting in this, and I'm enjoying it. I remember during the pandemic stocking up on both this and the Black is Beautiful from 6 Point, because they were trying to unload all the beers that they had made in late 2000 and early 2021. So they made these deals where they gave you like a third off. So I brought a whole case of the Black is Beautiful. I still have two cans of that left. And I think I didn't buy a whole case. I think I might have bought a case, maybe 3/4. And this one was discounted too. But I guess the stuff wasn't moving well during the pandemic, although some people probably drank more during the pandemic, you would think. But I guess they wanted to move it out, so they discounted it. And they didn't charge shipping when you bought a whole case. So it just cost for the beer. And I think they were like $6. These were like $6.50. And the Black is Beautiful, which was only 14%, was like $6 a beer. Which, if you think about it, for a barrel-aged beer, that's an okay price. Not horrible.
Right. Yeah, not bad at all. I mean,
so John, I'm going to keep sipping on it. Why don't you give us your blush? Give us your blushberry.
All right.
And I will keep sipping.
Founders Blushberry, 12%. Josh and Gabe, if you guys came in a little late, that's what I'm drinking. And this is a tequila barrel-aged Belgian raspberry ale, raspberry Belgian ale with lime. That's kind of a tongue twister. Okay. 12% alcohol. It did pour with a little bit of a head. It's died down, but there's still a little bit of film right on top. And I was showing everybody earlier, it's hard to tell in the lighting, but it's a dark red color. It is very clear, though. I don't know if I mentioned that before. You can see the light through it. There's no sediment or anything in it. So although it's very dark in color, it's super clear. There's nothing floating around in here, which sometimes with not only barrel-aged beers, but Belgian beers in particular, tend to have some of that Belgian yeast you kind of caked at the bottom of the bottle, and a lot of times it gets in the beer as you're pouring it out. But I don't even see any yeasties on the bottom of the bottle here, which, as far as I'm concerned, that's a good thing. I don't necessarily want big chunks floating around in my beer. But as I mentioned earlier, a lot of raspberry, a little bit of lime, and a lot of that tequila barrel. It smells almost like somebody poured a shot of tequila into the beer itself. I don't know if it's agave. I'm not a tequila drinker usually, but it definitely has that aroma to it. You can tell that if you blindfolded me and gave me this beer, I'd tell you that it had something to do with tequila, whether it's barrel aged or if somebody poured a shot of tequila in it. It's definitely got that aroma, but it smells really good. Unless you really hate tequila, you might be a little turned off, but it smells really nice and fruity. I like raspberries and Belgian ales, and you get a lot of that too. So it smells really good, but it definitely smells boozy and kind of tequila barrel forward. So cheers, guys. I've been dying to get into this.
Cheers. Enjoy.
Wow. So a lot less tequila presence on the actual palate. The primary thing, the lead flavor, is like rich, tart raspberry flavor. Almost like not just fresh raspberries, but like fresh raspberries and raspberry jam. It's got that decadent kind of like preserve type quality to it. And then on the back end, you get a little bit of that lime, like almost an acidic type lime finish. And then the barrel is there too. You get the tequila barrel, but it's not. I'm kind of relieved, to be honest with you, because based on the aroma, I thought it was just going to be like a booze bomb. But the raspberries are very strong, and I think it's masking some of that I was getting on the nose. So it almost just tastes like a barrel-aged version of like a lambic. Like, have you ever had the framboise,
Yes.
which is the raspberry lambics?
Yep.
Like it's very similar in the flavor profile to that, but a little bit richer and some of that barrel presence coming through. The lime is a nice touch on the back end. That lime it's almost kind of makes you want to pucker a little bit at the end. And raspberries are kind of tart on the tart side too. So really nice. It's got a nice tartness. Barrel's definitely there. Both the raspberry and the lime's there. It's boozy, but it's not as boozy as I thought it was going to be based on the palate. The body is medium. It's not heavy. And the carbonation is very, very active carbonation here. I would say it's almost high carbonation. I mean, this was bottled in February. It's a barrel-aged beer, but it was recently bottled, so it doesn't have a ton of age to it other than the barrel aging. But as far as being from the shelf to glass, it's only been a couple of months. I would say it's pretty high, the carbonation, which kind of works. The spritzy carbonation works well with the raspberries, and that it just kind of adds to the refreshing quality of the beer because, you know, a booze bomb like this, tequila barrel-aged 12% beer, could be a little much if it had zero carbonation. It would just kind of, I feel like it would sit a lot heavier if it didn't have the nice carbonation to it. I'm really liking this. This is completely different than anything I've ever had. I may have had one or two other tequila barrel-aged beers in my entire life, and I think they're from Founders as well. The Mas Agave beers, the lineup that they put out a few years ago. I don't know if they still make it or not, but it was a similar type thing where they tequila barrel-aged. I think it was a tequila barrel-aged Goza, actually, the Mas Agave. And they were pretty good. But this, the barrel aging for a Belgian ale, but tequila barrel aging, I've never had a tequila barrel aged Belgian ale before, and I'm digging it. Founders did a really good job with it. It's not subtle with the tequila barrel aging, but the raspberries balance out that tequila barrel nicely because it's such a strong flavor, and then the lime it rounds it out perfectly. So I'll keep sipping on it, and we'll come back around with ratings here in a few minutes, but we'll just kind of leave it open. You guys can talk more about your beers if there's any notes that you're picking up as the beer's warming, and then we'll just talk away about the beers. And when you're ready to give a rating, you can go ahead and give a rating. But some very interesting beers tonight, including one that had to be poured down the drain before we even got rolling. That's a first. I don't think I've ever had a live show where somebody had to pour beer out.
Unfortunately, when I grabbed that, I knew that was a possibility, just because I know it's because I know those are only going to get more questionable as things go.
Yeah,
as they age. So,
do you feel like if it was like a 12 or a 14% versus an 8%, it would have held up better?
Probably, yeah. Probably if it was a higher alcohol, it probably would have aged better. But you know, I mean, there's a lot of those brewers are not into the whole aging idea. They're like, drink it now.
Right.
And I guess that was Weyerbacher when they brewed that. But at the same time, I remember when I first bought it and started drinking it. It came across as 8%. It's badged as 8%, but it tasted more boozy than even Brooklyn Black Chocolate at 10.
Oh wow.
So it was always it always seemed like it was more boozy beer than it was rated at. So
you have some of that Brooklyn Black Chocolate in various years that you've collected,
yep.
Right? So you have a pretty substantial group of that you saved in your.
Yes, I need to.
And that's 10%.
Some of that. Yeah, I have stuff of that. I think I still have some 2014.
But that should be better because that.
Yeah.
Okay, you should do that first. But even at 10%, that should hold up. That should hold up better than this one.
Yeah. So, for the most part, it does well. I think
that's an excellent beer, by the way. And
I gave a 6-pack of that to a friend of mine, and he said a couple of them didn't age well, but because they were from 2013 or something like that.
I was telling John before that I had considered doing the Brooklyn Black Ops tonight. Remember, I told you I have one from 2016 from the fall, and I have two of them. And I was going to do one, but I decided it's 11.5, and I'd have to drink 25.4 ounces. that's a lot, because it's, in other words, that's another quarter of a beer over this as far as the size. And this is six. Now, I did this kind of thing where I was figuring it out. I multiplied the amount of ounces versus the ABV, and it turned out that the Black Ops would have been more powerful in ABVs than this was if you were comparing bottle to bottle, that the extra, whatever it is, 9.4
you gotta
ounces,
drink more of
even
it,
though the
so
alcohol is lower, it would have been more substantial. And you have to drink more. I asked Audrey if she wanted any, and she said no. And when she said that, I said, forget it, because she might have had 4 ounces of it. And then I would only had to have, 20, which is still a lot if you think about it. So save that for a bigger group. Use that at one of my beer tastings. And if it does turn out to be like yours, then it's no good. Now, the only good thing that has going, it's got the top part with the champagne top, and it's champagne yeast in it, which they claim is good for aging. In other words, if you read some of these in Beer Advocate, they have groups that specifically do that type beer. They claim it's at least good for the 5 years like the Bourbon County is now, but some have tried it 8 and 10 and have had good success. So I'm not afraid. I think it could turn out to still be okay.
I've got
we'll
I
got 2 bottles, and I think they were like $20 each, so they were a big investment at the time.
Yeah, I've got a Black Ops from 2013, I think.
Yeah, that's a long. That's a
okay. That's even another 3 years more. That's going to be. That's really getting into it.
That's going to be another one of those.
You know what we could do? Not enough, John. John, can you get a Black Ops bottle?
Yes, I can. I would have to go to. Well, I won't even mention the store because there's only a few of them.
Yeah, but you don't know. It could turn out to be okay.
But yeah,
what I was going to say, John.
Get one. I can't get any as
might be hard to find,
but I can
all they make now is.
Yeah, I can get like a bottle from 2022. I think the ones on the shelves in the store that I go to, they're 2022 bottles. I don't know when they started canning them, but I'm pretty sure it was 2022 was the date on the bottle.
Because they shifted into the can. They shifted into the can with what's the beer they're using now? Some Rose, not Red Rose. What's the alcohol that's the barrels they use? Something with Rose.
Four Roses bourbon. Four Roses bourbon, right?
Four Roses in cans, but I'll tell you, I've had it. It's not as good as the regular Black Ops. It's a good attempt, but it's just not the same thing.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if you could get any bottle of Black Ops, the three of us could all do it. Ian would do the oldest one. Mine would be pretty old, but middle, and yours would be the newest, and we could compare how they are, and it would be interesting. I'd be willing to do that.
I'm down.
If nothing else, it would be fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We might even see another drain pour if Ian brings out the 2013. You never know. That's a long time. The 2013. I mean, that's 12 years. I mean, my God, that's a long time.
We're talking about going on 12 years is a long, but it's not Ian. It's not automatically bad. You never know with this stuff.
Yeah,
I guess Ian is kind of like an engineer in a way, so he understands. But this isn't rocket science. This is luck. A lot of it is luck.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's luck. Obviously, you're not going to be. Do you remember the alcohol on the 2013? Because mine, it changed every year. Mine's 11.5. There are some that are 10.5. You'd have to look it up.
He's going to go.
Whatever it is, it's more than 8. See, the problem you have, with the one you did, the 8% is the problem. It's too low. I've sold stuff at 8%, but then I don't sell it for more than a couple of years because then it seems like it has problems for sure.
Although you did have that.
But I was going to say, and you don't have to center me in. We can just talk. This as it's.
Sorry, it's the delay. Sorry, Michael. Yeah.
Which one was it?
I was just going to say you did have a beer. I think it was from North Carolina. That was like 10 or 12 years old from North Carolina that somebody gave you. Didn't you have a beer recently?
It was the Silent Night. It was called.
Yeah, but that one turned out to be okay, right?
Silent Night. It was called, and and it held up fine. And I think it was like almost 10 years old. Okay,
So it's
Ian actually has the
11.5.
bottle to check. And what's the alcohol?
11 and a half.
Okay, so it's the same as mine. Mine's 11.5 too. What year is it? It
2013.
has the year on the back. Is it a 13?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Ian has one. I have one. John, you're on the search.
All right. I'll get one.
Black
And I have my 2020.
Ops
Nice.
bottle
Okay.
you can find. If I see another one around,
That's 12 too.
I'd pick it up. But I mean, then I still.
Yeah.
Wow. See, John, Ian is somebody who has the ability to sit on stuff without having to hit. I'm somewhere in the middle. You're of the three of us, you're probably, John, you're the least likely to be able to sit on something for 10 years. It just doesn't.
If
seem
I
to
had
be
a
your
dedicated
style. But
space,
I can, obviously I've sat on these two bottles for 8 years, so I can do it.
yeah.
Well, I'm fortunate in my
But all I'm
basement
saying is
stays a
Ian has
relatively-
several things that are old. He doesn't.
Yeah, well, I'm fortunate in my basement stays a relatively stable temperature all year
Okay,
long.
Ian, I have a suggestion for you. Whether you could do this or not, I don't know. Can you put that 2013 now that you just showed us into refrigeration? Do you have refrigerator space to just fit that? Because on another video that I saw, the guy said, be careful. If you store it because of the champagne yeast that's in there and it's kept for a long period of time, and this happened to him, obviously, and it's somebody, John, you've seen his reviews. Greg from Virginia, remember him?
Oh,
The
yeah.
one I would have my disputes with because he would lower stuff a point. You know, it's in the refrigerator. You know who it is. Anyway, so Greg did. I don't want to, you know, he's gone now, so I don't want to pick on him. But anyway, he did a review of the Black Ops, and he said he got all his beer from his brother. He never bought anything. He didn't find the beer he ever bought. It was always beers donated. But he always thanked his brother Richard or Ricardo, whatever. It doesn't matter. I may as well just be blunt. But anyway, I always had problems, Ian, because he would rate a beer a full point lower because it didn't have the date on it. So you know how when you're on YouTube, you can comment to somebody about what they're saying. So I'd get into it with him. I'd say, how can you take off a full point? You're saying the beer tastes just as good. It would be an A beer, but I'm giving it a B because they didn't put the date on it. So
not a point. Like a
we
whole
exchanged stuff, and he said,
a
"I'm
whole
a
letter grade." Yeah, a whole letter grade, right, Michael? He would take a whole letter grade off.
level."
Yeah,
He'd go from A to B because you didn't have the date on it. And
Okay. Uh-oh, Mike froze again.
Michael froze again. All right. Well, while there's a little bit of a silence, I'm gonna mention that as my beer warms, the lime is becoming more pronounced, even more pronounced on mine.
he said he.
Oh, Michael,
It's on these beers. Be careful because
Sounds
of the
like
champagne yeast. If you
yeah, Michael, it sounds like you got rabbit ears going and you're trying to find a signal, like you get your old black and white TV going.
I was going to say, John, as it's coming back.
Okay.
How is your blushberry holding up as you're drinking?
Okay. All right, and now he's back. Yeah, I was just saying, as my beer is warming up a little bit, the lime is coming
Looks
through a little bit more. The lime is more pronounced as the beer is warming up, so it's a little bit more on the finish with the lime, which
Yeah.
kind of balances out the tartness and the almost raspberry jam type notes that you're getting up front. So it's a nicely balanced beer. And like I said earlier, I'm really glad that it's not super tequila forward on the palate. I can get over that on the aroma, although as it's warming up, I don't know if I'm just getting numb to it because I've been sipping on it for a while, and maybe the 12% alcohol is kicking in a little bit too. But I think that the more I smell it, it smells less and less like tequila. So I think maybe I'm just getting used to it, but it definitely doesn't have too strong of a tequila flavor. It's really nicely balanced with the sweetness and tartness of the raspberries and a little bit of the acidity and that kind of mouth puckering quality that you get from the limes on the back end. And it's not getting any heavier as it warms either. It's actually this beer does not diminish in quality as it warms. That was another thing I'm kind of fearful of with a tequila type of barrel-aged beer. And I think a lot of it's just because I'm not a big tequila drinker. It kind of scares me a little bit drinking something with tequila barrel aging, but it's really, really enjoyable. And
Mine is
yeah. But
okay. So
go ahead,
now
Mike.
take a look, and I'll wait till John comes back. I can leave it up; it doesn't matter.
I
Ian,
never
you
went
can see
anywhere.
there is no head. It's
Right.
completely gone. Soon, I'm here, so we're doing a little drift with the stream anyway. But if you look, you can see that the head is completely, and you're getting some alcohol legs along the top, which you can still see, which are like rolling down the side of my glass. But that's John, I was showing Ian, look at how my head's completely gone.
Right. Yeah.
Now there's nothing. Alcohol legs along the top, but no head anymore. And if you shake it, it won't regenerate the head. It's gone. That's the end of the head. But again, 15.4, you're not surprised that the head went away. I mean, it's just the way.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
And yours didn't have, John, you had some fizziness at the beginning, but you didn't have much of a head either, right? A little bit.
No, not much. I'm trying to, it doesn't want to really.
And I'm using iced coffee as my chaser just to.
Okay. Nice. All right. Any other developing flavors? I don't know.
Ian, have you totally healed from your accident?
No. I don't know if you really want to see the scar, but
that's quite.
So you still have some pain?
Not really. It's like I can't really.
Yeah, I see it now. I didn't see it before.
Yeah.
So
it's like it's still.
So this was this.
Oops.
Okay, it takes a long time before you get full motion again. Audrey had a problem with her arm too, and she said she never.
Oh, that's my left shoulder.
But it's like Audrey said, it's 95% back to what
my
it was.
left shoulder.
It took her years too before hers got better.
My left shoulder.
By the way, just as an aside, John, I still have a beer that I brought back with me when I went to Belgium from 2018. That is, let's see, what is it? It's a Belgian Brune at 9.5%. And that's from September of 2018. So that's over 6 years in the bottle. And I wonder how that's got, if that's got better. Enhanced and better. But when Ian bought that beer from Weyerbacher, his intention wasn't to keep it for 10 years. I guarantee you it wasn't. He just has so much other beer, it just sits by the wayside.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Look, John, look at Shane. Shane's a good example. Shane is a beer friend of ours, and I saw some of the stuff. He took some pictures. Also, David, his friend that you met in New Orleans, he has a big cellar full of beer that he sat on too. But again, they call it a museum. You're supposed to still drink it. You can't just save it indefinitely.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense. I mean
beer is for
consumption. It's not for.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like
you wait around too long, you end up with a lot of spoiled beer, a lot of money down the drain, and there's no time guaranteed on this earth. So you better drink them while you're still in good health, otherwise you might never get around to it.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I've always had with stuff like this is because it's such a big ass bottle.
Yeah.
That I always think, this is something I need to share.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, like I have one thing I like to get when I can.
Yeah, do you have a beer drinking buddy you can share it with? Do you have a friend who drink?
Locally, no. That's the thing. They're all my teammates who are down in DC. So usually that's usually what happens is like whenever I go do a camping trip or like a multi-day bike riding trip with my friends down in DC who are from DC, I'll bring a case of stuff. And usually I'll bring a lot of the big bottles, like one of my friends from he lived in Maryland for a long time, and he lives in Montana now with his wife, and he likes Neshaminy Creek Leon Russian, and obviously they can't get it in Montana, so usually I'll try and get it whenever I can, whenever I know I'm going to see him, because once in a while he'll drive east to visit us, and so I'll if I know he's coming, I'll try and grab a case of it for him, because I know. But one time he came and I had and I was able to get I had a bottle of barrel aged Leon Russian, and that was something it's not quite as big as this, but it's a similar style of that of waxed capped beer bottles or 22-ounce bottles. So, but that was one of the things where, I took it up to there and we shared it with a bunch of our friends.
This is the brewery. This is the one that's very close to where Ian lives. Ian, you could walk to that brewery, right, from where you live if you wanted?
Almost. It's just under 2 miles from my house. Where Neshaminy Creek.
So I'm enjoying this as it cools off, as it gets hot, it gets warmer. Right. I think it is a little sweeter as it gets warmer too. But on a dessert beer, you don't care if it gets sweeter because it's going to be sweet. Mm-hmm. It doesn't bother me. Now, anybody who doesn't like cloying, this is on the edge of cloying. In other words, it's gotten to the point now where I'm not going to say I'm a professional beer drinker. All I'm going to say is when it comes to dessert stouts, it's something I like. So this is still okay for me.
Yeah.
If you have somebody who doesn't like sweet beers, they should stay away from this one. It's not made anymore, so
I would say one
Cojito Cowboy unless somebody.
One good quality about this beer is that it is sweet initially and tart, from the raspberries, but as it warms up, it doesn't get more sweet. It becomes more lime forward and it has that bite from the lime, so it actually balances out a little bit better as it elevates in temperature. So I would say that this beer actually, if I was drinking it right out of the fridge, I would give it a certain score, and then I would probably bump it up a point or two if it was a little bit warmer. So I would recommend drinking this beer at kind of in between, like not, you don't want it quite room temperature, but I would say you want it on the cool side, but I wouldn't necessarily want to drink this one ice cold because I feel like you're missing half of the experience and some of the flavors.
Oh, I'm thoroughly convinced that what I really need to age this stuff is a wine fridge that can cool down to age, like red aging for whites maybe.
Yeah,
because I drink a lot of wine.
Even if you put it in a standard refrigerator, it'll cool it. But we'll see. I guess we won't know until. But I'm enjoying this. Are we getting close to where we're going to rate our beer?
I think so. We're going close to an hour, so we'll go around. Everybody, we'll start with you, Ian, if you want. Give us your
John. What do you think? Is it rating time?
Yeah, yes. Ian's going to give us his rating here.
So, yeah, I would definitely say that. I mean, I would buy this again, but I definitely wouldn't rate this among the highest beers I've ever had. So I would say like a 95.
Oh, well, that's not
you know,
bad
it's
at all.
a decent rating, but I wouldn't say it's like, or I mean, maybe 94. I wouldn't. Maybe a 94. Let's say a 94.
Okay.
Because it's good. I'd definitely buy it again, but it's not up there with any of the other more highly rated beer bourbon stouts I've had.
I had a similar experience. It's just like as a barrel aged beer. As a beer, it's pretty enjoyable, but as a barrel aged beer, I was kind of
as a barrel aged beer. It's kind of on the average.
Lacking some of that barrel presence. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so 94 for the Stoneface RIS Russian Imperial Barrel Aged Stout. Michael, I'm going to let you go next with your rating on the Cojito Cowboy.
Okay, I can't remember what I gave when we did it together. I can't remember what I gave it. I know I gave it an A. The question is, I have to decide number-wise where it should be. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a 96. It's not world class, and it might not be world class because it is 4 years old. So, you might have lost a little bit of something in the translation, so to speak, over time. But I don't think I would ever give a dessert product like this a 98 or a 99 anyway. I like dessert beers, but they're not my total favorites. This beer is missing stuff that Bourbon County has.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel like it dropped a point for you. I think the last time we had it together, the last time you reviewed it, I think you gave it a 97. You said it's a 96 now. But I think it dropped 1 point from the last time you had it.
And that could be just strictly, the timing over whatever. And your tastes do change a little bit over time too. Mm-hmm. But again, it's sweet, and in this case, the sweetness is still good. I like dessert beers. But I think if you're going to do a dessert beer like this and try to compare it with a Bourbon County, and I'm talking about the straight thing. I'm not talking about variant. I'm talking about the straight stout. And I guess the variants actually could be closer because the variants have different additives in them. But can you think of any specific Bourbon County additive ones that are sweet? Because I know there was there was a Fig Newton one. There were some other ones, but they weren't super sweet.
Yeah, none of the Bourbon Counties that I've had have been.
There was a banana one.
The Bananas Foster, but none of them. All of the ones that I've had over the years, regardless of what additives they put in them, I've never had one that's bordering on cloyingly sweet. They're all very well balanced. And the Bourbon Counties, the bourbon is still, no matter what they put in there, other than maybe the coffee one, which is one of my least favorite ones, because the coffee kind of takes away from the bourbon, I think. But for the most part, all of the different variants with all of the different additives, it's very nicely balanced with you still get a lot of the bourbon barrel age presence on the base beer. They don't put too much. And the Cojito Cowboy, although it's very good, it's almost a little bit too sweet sometimes, especially as it warms up, that it takes away from the barrel aging. But it's not bourbon barrel aged, it's rum barrel aged. So you get more sweetness from that too. So there's a lot that plays into it. I think probably the rum barrel aging makes a big difference in the sweetness level. If it was bourbon barrel aged, it probably would be a completely different beer.
I agree with that.
So I was waiting to see if Mike.
I think.
There we go. Go ahead.
The rum barrel aging is what caused it to be sweeter. And when it gets to room temperature, where it's not refrigerated cold. There's still some refrigeration in it because I've only had it open for an hour. We're 59 minutes and 53 seconds. So I've had it open less than an hour because I didn't open it immediately. Whatever. So, John, you're the last one to give us a number.
All right. So I'm sitting right at a 96. I think it's a solid A. It's not world class. I mean, it may be world class for the style. It's kind of unprecedented. Like, I don't know what to compare this to. So if you argued with me that this is a world-class beer, I really couldn't dispute that point. For me personally, it's not world-class just because I'm not a huge tequila drinker, and it is really boozy initially on the nose, and it takes a while for it to warm up, and that's how I would recommend drinking it a little bit closer to room temperature. Don't drink it right away out of the fridge because this one really develops as it warms up, and the lime comes through a lot more and complements the raspberry and balances the beer out. But it's still, I mean, a solid A beer. 96 is a solid A beer. But yeah, not quite in the world-class range, but you can't, there's no other beer that I've had that's really like this. This is kind of a one of one, you know? So it's definitely, as a craft beer lover, as somebody that likes barrel-aged beers, I definitely would recommend somebody to, go out and buy this and try it. I think you would enjoy it. It's definitely very well crafted, very well made. But beware, if you do not like tequila, the aroma alone will turn you off. You won't even want to drink the beer. So you have to kind of be open to different barrel aged processes, different barrels other than bourbon and rum. And it's great. It's really a good drinking experience. And I like the raspberry lime combo. I think it's just a good beer, or an excellent beer, but yeah, not world class, but really, really good. And I do think a lot of people give the Founders beers, especially over the last few years, they give them a hard time. They say that the barrel aged beers aren't as good. I haven't really had that experience, especially if you sit on them for a couple years. I mean, you could buy a KBS, a 2024, 2025 KBS, and to me, it tastes pretty much the same as a KBS from 10 years ago. Of course, if you age any year, it's gonna get better. But I don't see what all the hate on the Founders barrel aged beers are. Same thing with the CBS. I've heard a lot of people say that the CBS it's not the same as it used to be. I don't find that to be the case. I don't buy them as much as I used to, but every time I do end up with a Founders beer, I'm usually pretty happy with it. So kudos to Founders for keeping the quality up for as long as I've been drinking their beers. And they're always great beers to cellar. The barrel-aged beers from Founders always age very well. So that's all I got.
Ian, do you have any show and tell or anything else you want to show us? Because if not, I have some.
No, I'm good for now.
All right, Michael.
Okay, so I was at the food co-op earlier. My daughter had a shift. You have to work once every 6 weeks. I'm retired from the food co-op, so I can shop forever as long as I make it. But Bryce still has to work. So I go when she's working, and then I meet her. So anyway, I'm there, and obviously when I'm there, I'm going to buy beer because that's just part of my nature, whatever. And John was at Other Half with me. This is Other Half's all Citra everything. John, have you ever had this?
I have not had that one, no.
Okay, so this is a double, 8.5%. And just to show you that the co-op can be a beer discounter even on their regular price beer, you'd have to buy 4 of these at Other Half to get them for $18, and I was able to get one for $4.69.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So if you compare this beer, John, to a Treehouse beer, they probably don't have a lot that are less than $5 each. They might have some. I don't know if they discount any of their IPAs at all, but that would be $20 for a 4-pack. I don't know if you can get it.
Yeah. Treehouse
for that
is
or not.
anywhere from 20
My
to
theory on this
$25
was
for a 4-pack.
okay. So if you went there and they happened to have the all Citra everything at other half, you could get them on sale for $18. But I only wanted to buy one. Bryce bought one for Chris, and I got that. They also had, and I don't know if John's had this either, they had a mix pack of Firestone Walker. And did you ever do anything, John, with the Mind Haze series? So Mind Haze was like a blue can, 6.2%, the regular.
Wait, from Firestone Walker, right? Not 6.
And they had 2 of the higher alcohol ones together with these because they lowered the price. You know, I told you they have this section in the front where they have beers on sale. So They had a whole bunch of different 12-packs all lined up, and you're allowed to take out of the 12-pack what you want. So I decided, I looked at the bottom of the cans, and these are older IPAs. They were brewed at the end of last year. So they're going on 4 months old now.
That's not bad. No, it's not.
So they're
bad.
not new, but they're whatever. And I didn't buy any of the 6.2. I bought all the high alcohol. So let me show you what I bought. This is their Mind Haze Brain Melter Imperial IPA.
That's
And it's
aged well.
8.5%.
Cheers, Beer Man. Okay, no, I've never seen
John,
that.
Beer Man's here.
Yeah, Beer Man. Gabe's still here.
Okay.
I have not.
And
I've never seen that beer.
Because that was always my understanding
And
of what
the top one
what
is
the Hoppy was for. But what IPAs were for, it was like they were hopped up so they could survive they were hopped
that's
an extra
that's
amount to be able
my
to
theory
survive
on
but to be able to survive the voyage from England all the way to India.
right. So I'm assuming that because the higher alcohol ones should hold up better, and if this does have 4 months on it, it should still be okay. The other one, John, was Mind Haze Cosmic IPA, and this is 9.5%. Cosmic Crusher.
Huh.
And
I've
John,
never seen any of those beers. I don't get a ton of
So you
Firestone
haven't seen
Walker.
the original.
Usually the Firestone Walker stuff I see is like the Parabola, the Bear, like the bigger beers. I don't think I've ever had a Firestone Walker IPA. All the stuff I've had from them is like barrel aged, big bottles, you know, that I've had over the years, like specialty bottles. I don't think I've had an IPA from them.
So my theory was, and I could have bought as much as I wanted because they had a whole bunch of them. I didn't take any of We've discussed it. If you remember the Flying Dog, it called, I gave you one, Flying Dog. It wasn't the Truth. It was, I can look it up if you can't think of it.
Not off the top. I know what you're
Ian has
referring to.
not seen my beer book, but okay, Flying Dog. What was it? Okay, I'll describe it. Doesn't matter what it was called anyway. Anyway, it's a Flying Dog beer that they were trying to get rid of. It was 9% alcohol. I know where I could find it. I listed everything that I gave you. So all I have to do is look you up in here. And I can find out the name of it. Let's see. Where's John's stuff? It's in the, I just got it. Okay, it'll show. Not there. I am going to have it as we speak. Not there either. Is it here? No. So I know where it is. It's going to be here. Okay. I got it. Okay. So it was called Flying Dog. The Fear.
The Fear. Okay. Yeah, I remember
there's
that.
You have a review. You reviewed it.
I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
I
Ian,
gave
this
it.
was
I
a
really liked it. Yeah.
9% dark. A 9% dark ale. And what the co-op did, they bought these bottles and they were selling them for 26 cents each. 12-ounce bottle of 9%. See, the co-op is willing to take losses on the stuff because their theory is 26 cents is better than nothing if you overbought something. They make mistakes. They just buy certain things too much. And what I do is whenever they do stuff like that, I buy as much as I can do without Audrey flipping out, because she can flip out, stuff. What's all that down there for? And how much can you drink? And she's right. I mean, how much can I drink? I'm not, it's not like I'm going to have a six pack of Flying Dog the Fear in the evening, unless I want to just, go for oblivion. I mean, you just can't. 9% beer is a 9% beer. I would just have one, and that would be more than enough for my evening, and that's it. But as John will tell you, it was a good beer. It wasn't like it was crappy. It was a really good beer. It was like a dark ale kind of thing, and it had IBUs in it too. So there was some bitterness, but not anything to rock your socks. It was 9%, like 60 IBUs, maybe something like that. I guess I could look.
Yeah,
and see
that
what
sounds
the
right.
IBUs were.
So we're going.
I'll check though.
So guys, we'll go ahead and wrap up the live portion of the show here. We're going at 1 hour and 11 minutes. I did want to show Michael and Ian. So Shane Fudge sent me a package a couple weeks ago, and one of the beers that he sent me, I'm saving for a future examination. It is one of the 2018. That doesn't want to focus. 2018 Bourbon County. So we're looking at 7 years now for this. 14-7. So we'll have to do another Bourbon County thing here soon. 2018. I know.
Ian, do you have any Bourbon County?
Oh, I've got a lot of Bourbon County.
Of course.
I have.
Of course.
See, mine's all of mine. All of mine is newer, but I'm willing to do one. I have a 21. I have a couple of 23s. John, I still have the one you gave me. What was the one in the different barrels? Oh, look at that. Some Weller.
He also sent me a bottle of Weller Special Reserve, which is very hard to come by up here. This is a fantastic bourbon. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think I have a Bourbon County from like.
I've never had Wellers. All right, John. Okay,
Yeah.
so John, the next one we'll do a Bourbon County, and I'm sure Bumpy has one too, and he can do it. We can plan a day that he can definitely attend.
Yes, and,
I am going to be away in Greece from June 16th through July 10th, I think. And Bryce and Chris are joining us, so that should be fun.
Nice.
Are you going just
We're going to be
spur? I mean, like how did you just plan this out, or has this been something you've been planning out for a while?
No, we've been planning it for a while, but it's mostly going to be Audrey and I going first. We're going to visit like a few islands on one side, and then we're going to come back to Athens, and Bryce and Chris are going to fly in, and then we're going to do islands on the other side. So we're going to end up doing Athens and 6 Greek islands in 3.5 weeks, and Bryce and Chris will be there for like 12 days.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
We'll get a chance to spend time with them. We've never really vacationed with them, so it should be a lot of fun. And we're treating them. So it'll be fun. And that's
nice.
That's cool. And whatever. What do you have to do with your money anyway? You might as well just splurge.
You can't take it with you when you go.
Greek beer is not known. It's not known for being it's not a great beer country, but I'll drink alcohol. They have hard alcohol you can have there. And I'll try the beer if I can.
I bet they've got some pretty good beer.
John, if you want to just go offline and say maybe it'll be all right. I'll try it.
Let's do that.
I don't think they're Greek stouts though. They're lagers. That's all they
probably
do.
not. Yeah, okay, I would think some lagers.
Right.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up, guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat. We had Gabe, we had Beerman, we had Josh. Lots of great comments in the chat. Cheers to Ian and Michael. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Good examination. Excuse us for the technical difficulties we had tonight. There may be a little bit of a lag, but who knows? Maybe when it processes in the video playback, maybe it shows up perfectly fine on your end. But if not, there was some technical issues with StreamYard. Hopefully we'll have that resolved next time. But thank you guys for joining. We'll do it again soon. And we'll see you on the next one. Until
Okay.
then, cheers, everybody.
This is what's left of the Cojito.
I finished mine. I poured a light lager
I still have a little bit left.
to wash it down with. All right. Cheers,
I
guys.
still have
a
some
good night,
Cojito left
and-
at the bottom. Till
Cheers,
the next
everyone.
time. Till the next time on StreamYard. Cheers, everyone.